don't know what's inside of me. Don't forget about me. Don't forget about me. Even when I doubt you.
Hey YouTube, it's Curtis,
Robert,
and CJ.
and we're here to do a review of the TMS wood stove, which you guys saw in our first video when we went camping in our canvas tent. It got down to 17 degrees and it kept us pretty warm, don't you guys think?
Yeah, it got us up into the 70s, 60s, I believe.
Yeah, it was like in the 60s in our tent, and it got down to 17 degrees at night. So we're going to unpack this thing. You guys will notice right here, I've got a wooden box. The stove doesn't actually come in this box. I just happen to have this box, so it fits perfectly in it, and it helps with carrying the stove around, keeping everything contained in one spot. I'm going to talk about a couple of modifications that we've done to the wood stove, and we're going to get a fire going in it, and then we're going to do some Jiffy Pop, because we just can't live without Jiffy Pop, right guys?
Yeah, if we miss Jiffy Pop on one camp, we'll do it later.
So some of the stuff that's in the box here, hopefully this is in frame. Some of the stuff in the box doesn't actually come with the stove. Here's the stove. Get the box out of the way. So, as you guys can see, the stove's fairly compact. Everything packs down inside of it real nice and neat. The legs and the stovepipe, and there's a couple of tools that come with it. So inside here,
One for opening it up, and one for pushing all the wood around.
so what's that one?
I forgot what it's called.
That one's for pushing the wood around.
Yeah?
Yep.
And the other tool is for opening it, because this metal right here and all this metal can be very hot.
It can get very hot.
Yep.
Because there's a fire in it.
Here's legs.
Alright, pipe Daddy's pulling out.
That is
Stovepipe. That's kind of loud, huh? So this is everything that's going to come with the stove.
All the bigger pipes are the stovepipe.
Not quite all. You're going to
Yeah.
get 4 sections of stovepipe. These two hang on the sides of the stove. These are like cooking tubes, they call them. So you can
Yeah, so
make
you
like
can put potatoes and stuff in them, and it'll cook on the side.
yeah, I'll show you how they go. They're kind of like little ovens.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple little racks.
I call
For
them top
putting-
grates.
For putting stuff on top, like pans and stuff.
And then your 4 legs.
Yep.
And there's supposed to be a couple of these pins. I only have one of them at the moment, which is unfortunate, but we can still do the review without it. So, setting up the stove's pretty simple.
Wait, Dad, what are those pins for?
Those pins are to kind of hold some of the parts together.
You just gotta fasten the legs. There's
Yep.
a little screw that you have to twist.
Little wing nut. Move over so they can see you.
It's actually pretty warm out today.
Yeah, it's really warm out today. It's too warm, honestly, to be doing a wood stove, but it's not so warm that we can't do a wood stove review.
That was a bad spot to put my leg.
Yep, that was a bad spot to put your leg. 4 pipes go together, pretty simple.
The one with the little thing on top goes onto the top.
That one goes all the way on top. We do live next to a pretty busy road, so excuse the traffic noise. It's not super busy, but it's busy enough, right guys?
Yeah, it's
for
biggie.
a bunch of traffic.
How this is gonna work.
Okay.
So when we got our TMS wood stove, it didn't actually come with all the parts. I don't know what's supposed to go on here to hold these little racks on.
Wrong way.
Got it the wrong way. Some sort of a pin, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't know.
In the box, it doesn't come with a whole lot of instructions on how the thing's supposed to work. These racks are pretty cool, though. The racks can flip over, so you can hang your tools, your pokers and stuff. Let me see it, CJ. So you can hang tools and such off the side.
Or put
or
stuff on top.
You can flip these back so you can cook on top of it. Couple of things people don't like about this stove. First off, the paint on it's terrible. The paint's going to burn right off the very first time that you use it. So you need to build a hot fire inside of the stove, let it burn for at least 4 hours. Most of the paint's going to burn off at that point, but then you're going to have to get after the stove with some sort of a wire brush to get the rest of the paint off before you can use it inside of your tent. It stinks like terrible, and the stuff's just kind of floating all off of it. The paint just comes off in little flakes. Another thing that people don't like about this stove is the handle, the latch mechanism. It's just a little itty bitty piece of wire about the size of this handle here, and it's cut probably 3 or 4 inches long. It slides through this tube, and it's got a 90-degree bend in it on either end. It's not affixed, so it can spin and move around and do all kinds of really weird stuff. It gets super hot, so you can't grab it with your fingers. So what we did to fix that is actually, this is the handle off of a slag hammer from Harbor Freight. Just a chipping hammer for welding. And actually, I was trying to come up with a solution for the handle problem, and I had tried a couple of different things. I had my little welder out, and then all of a sudden it just occurred to me to cut the handle off of the slag hammer. It fits absolutely perfect in there. I just tacked it right there on the end, and it works great. And it's, you know, it's got the expanded spring metal on it, and there's no way that that thing's going to get hot. But it does kind of make it a little bit harder to pack down. As far as packing it, if you're not using a box or something like that to pack it into, this handle's going to be in the way. You guys can notice that handle's a bit long. I may have been able to make it a little bit shorter or something, or I guess there's a nut on the inside. You could unscrew that handle. You could come up with some sort of a solution, and that's something that we'll work on to make it a little bit better. What do you guys think about the stove? What do you think, CJ? What's your things that you do like and things that you don't like?
The thing I don't like is because just to tell you guys again, these holes right here, it's supposed to let out the heat, but the smoke comes out. And also, Dad, you might have not noticed this, but there's another one of these on the back. See?
Yep, there's a damper on the front and the back.
Another negative thing for me is...
Look at the camera.
A negative thing for me is, well...
Hold on.
The smoke just pumps out. All the time when we set up the oven, I have to get out because I just get fumed out of there. I hate it.
So, but that would be with any wood stove, right?
Yeah, any wood stove.
So once the fire is burning hot and you've got a good draft going through the stove, other than opening the door to put wood in and out, it's really not very smoky. So this stove is available on Amazon. One of the things that we like to do here at CLRC, we're not very rich people. We don't have a whole lot of money. We're not poor by any means, but we don't have a whole lot of money. So we always look for ways to do things kind of on a budget. And so this little stove on Amazon right now is $89.95.
That's kind of cheap for how good it is.
Yeah, that's a pretty dang good deal for this little stove. So we're going to go ahead and get a fire going in here, and we'll be back to you guys once we got a fire going. We're going to do some Jiffy Pop, and we'll talk a little bit more about what we do and don't like about the stove. All right, guys, go over to that side. So CJ's gonna pull the top off of the Jiffy Pop.
And we're gonna get it cooking, right?
This thing's only been going here for about 5 minutes or so, and it's starting to build up some pretty good heat inside of it. Probably enough heat to do
Can I
Jiffy
pull the
Pop.
top off?
Yep, bring it over here. So if you guys have never done Jiffy Pop with your kids, I would strongly suggest it. You could do it on a campfire, you could do it on your stovetop, you could do it on top of your wood stove, whatever. It's just a lot of fun. So that needs to be open.
Oh.
So go ahead and pull that top off, CJ.
And always with the birds.
Yeah, always with the birds. We're kind of right in the migration of the sandhill cranes. They've been everywhere around our house lately. I don't know if you guys can hear them in the background, if the microphone's picking them up or not. So Jiffy Pop's a lot of fun. If you guys haven't done Jiffy Pop, you need to do Jiffy Pop. Just sit it on top of the stove like that.
Give it a few.
Let's see
give
here.
it a minute to cook up.
Set the flame at medium-low. Sure. Place the pan on the burner. When sizzling sound is heard, continuously shake the pan. You gotta shake it like this?
No. Shake it on the stove.
Oh, shake it on the stove. Okay. Until the foil is fully expanded. This will take approximately 2 to 5 minutes. You guys hear it sizzling?
I do.
Now shake it.
How's this?
It says very fast, circular.
Hey, you shake it and then Dad shake it. Shake away, CJ. Really fast in a circular
Keep it on the
motion.
stove. You gotta keep it down on the stove.
Very fast in a circular.
Don't
Yeah.
touch it with your knuckles. Ooh, it smells good. It smells like popcorn.
You shake it. I can't really shake it.
This little stove is putting on an amazing amount of heat right now. You guys are going to see us doing a lot more reviews on budget camping gear. That whole setup, if you guys watched the first video that we did, the whole setup that we had, our tent, the stove, and our cot, we had less than $300 in all of that stuff. The tent actually came from a friend of mine who bought that at an auction for $10. I paid her $20 for it. This TMS wood stove we got for
80.
we got the TMS wood stove for $80, so there's $100. The cot that I was sleeping on is a Shakespeare, really nice Shakespeare cot. I got it at a yard sale for $25. CJ's cot we got at the military surplus store for $35, and Robert's cot, I have no idea where we got it, but I'm sure we didn't pay much more than $20 or $30 for it. So that's less than $200 even for all of that. You guys can do that. You can go out with your kids. There's no excuse not to get outside with your kids and have fun. Go to Salvation Army or any of the thrift stores. There's always stuff that you can get, and you can get a screaming deal on it. Now that it's sizzling, we'll just let it pop, and whenever we're done popping here, we'll get back to you guys. We'll enjoy some popcorn, and we'll give you our final thoughts on the wood stove here. Sit
Yep.
down, Robert.
I reckon I smell that popcorn.
Smell it?
Smells good.
So even though the little TMS stove doesn't have a flat top on it, if you close these things here, it works pretty good for heating water, cooking, boiling any canned foods or anything like that. But your pan won't have contact with the top of the stove, with the surface. So if we're doing something where you need to have contact with the stove, you would have to do some sort of a little modification. I've kind of had a couple of different ideas on welding a flat plate here on the top of it so you could set a pan or something. and it wouldn't be tipping around. Sit down, Robert. So you could weld something to the top of the stove and it wouldn't tip or whatever. Alright, YouTube. Popcorn's done. Jiffy Pop's awesome balloon full of popcorn. The boys really like doing it. Did you guys have fun doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to sit that down here so it doesn't burn. Look at the camera, CJ. Look at the camera, Robert. So I give this stove a 5 out of 10. For $80, it's really awesome. It kept our tent warm. A few drawbacks. The paint's going to burn right off of it. It didn't come with all the parts, so I've had to do a few little things. I didn't like the handle. So if you guys do get one of these stoves, grab yourself either off of Amazon or eBay or Harbor Freight or wherever, Walmart even. Grab a slag hammer, cut the handle off of it, and replace the handle. This really made this stove a lot more useful. I don't like that the legs aren't adjustable on it. Things that I do like, it keeps us warm. The price was right. What do you think about it, Robert?
It kept us warm in the tent. Well, it cooks anything that you need it to cook as long as it fits. Right, Dad?
Yeah.
And it's just straight up a good $90 stove, in my opinion. Passing it on to you, Siege.
What do you think, CJ? You need to tell the camera.
I think I give it a 8 or 7, because you can cook Jiffy Pop on it from the popcorn.
Yeah.
You
Jiffy
can
Pop.
Get Jiffy Pop and beans and a lot of stuff on it,
And
and also it keeps you very warm.
And you can heat water up for hot
And
chocolate.
we can heat water up for hot chocolate, and yeah, I just love it.
Would I buy it again if I had a chance? Honestly, if I only had $80, I would. But I don't know. Could save up another $50 and get a stove a lot better. If you only have $80, this stove's certainly going to do the job. Jiffy Pop is delicious.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We're out of here. CLRC Odyssey.
Subscribe, hit the bell notification button to let you know for future videos.
Right? What do you think,
Yeah.
Robert?
Also, like and share.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Yep, like,
some
share,
popcorn.
subscribe, and
Bye, YouTube.
Bye.
What?
Mm.
I wish I could just shove my face in a million of those.
Let's take this inside.
And eat it.
Just while it's put out the fire.
See you, YouTube.
Just while it's...
Don't know what's inside of me. Don't